November 8, 2013, a date that not only the people of Tacloban City will never forget, but also the whole country of the Philippines. On that day, one of the most horrifying events has ever occurred in Philippine history. And that event was Typhoon Yolanda, also known as Typhoon Haiyan. Typhoon Yolanda was the strongest typhoon the Philippines has ever experienced, a Category 5 typhoon to be exact. But what happened after Typhoon Yolanda hit the Philippines? That's what I'm going to talk about today. Hi, I'm Bautista, and I'm here to talk about the aftermath of Typhoon Yolanda. After Typhoon Yolanda left the Philippine area of responsibility, the city of Tacloban looked like it was abandoned for years. Damaged vehicles were spread out on the streets, random belongings from multiple people were lying everywhere, houses and buildings were no longer standing, and unfortunately, numerous lives were lost that day. The Philippine government promised the people of Tacloban City that they would rebuild their city, but even better. However, as we all know, promises were meant to be broken, and that led a multiple load of people being disappointed against the government. During that time, the late former President Benigno Noynoy Aquino III guaranteed that he would build 205,000 homes for the millions of people whose currently living areas were inhabitable. Unfortunately, only 25% of those homes were completely built. What happened to the rest? Now, some of you may remember this being reported on the news, and that this was one of the saddest things that happened after Yolanda decimated Tacloban City and its people. 2.8 million pesos worth of relief goods to give to the Yolanda survivors in Tacloban were already spoiled when it arrived there. You can see the anger, the sadness, and tears in their eyes. Some families even ate the spoiled food because they had nothing else to eat. Imagine waiting for something for a very long time, only to be led to disappointment. Now, after all these broken promises happened, there were proper solutions to help Tacloban City recover after everything that has happened to them. CARE Philippines devised a 3-year initiative program called the Typhoon Haiyan Response. Its main goal was to support all the people in Visayas, primarily Region 6 and Region 8. The program consisted of 3 phases. Phase 1, the emergency phase, which focused on giving the survivors food, shelter, and other primary necessities. Phase 2, the early recovery phase, which focused on the people's livelihoods and provided them a 3,000 to 5,000 peso aid in order to give them a head start. Lastly, Phase 3, the medium-term recovery, where financial support for the survivors was called upon them to get things back to the way they were. It has been almost 8 years since the tragic event of Typhoon Yolanda happened, and everything is currently going well. Tacloban City did rebuild after all, and it looks even better than before. But it did cost them a whopping $5.8 billion, or 294 billion pesos. More than 294 billion pesos to be exact. Yes, the city did recover, but what's harder to recover were the lives that were lost. People still mourn their losses when Yolanda happened. The mental damage to a person is always more complex for it to heal. It may take them days, weeks, months, or years, or maybe they won't heal at all. My thoughts about everything that happened during the time are how the government could have handled the situation better. I mean, millions of pesos were gone to waste, all because of mishandling the relief goods. They had one important job and unfortunately messed it all up. How about the money from other countries that were given to help the people of Tacloban? Some of the money was used to aid the people, but what happened to the rest? It can't possibly disappear out of nowhere, can it? A lot of things happened during the aftermath of Yolanda that were unfortunately handled terribly wrong. I'm sorry for the intense criticism, but that's my opinion. Let's just hope that nothing like this would ever happen again, because who knows what the people will do or would do if anything like Yolanda struck the Philippines again. Will history repeat itself? I hope not. Again, my name is Bautista, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.